my team's playing here on a Saturday, not all at the same time, by the way, I hasten to add. But what can I say about our cricket club? It's part of the fabric of our town, both past and present, as I've tried to point out here. This magnificent, but I described it as spearmint rhino when it first opened. It was a bit like all we missed was a pole. But we've turned it into a cricket club, into a cricket pavilion. As you can see, all the memorabilia around here has been gifted, collected, goodness knows what else. We're older than the MCC, if anyone knows what that is, the Marylebone Cricket Club, which I'm privileged also to be a member. We're older than the Lords of Cricket, where people just rocked up, not as immaculate as it is now. There'd be two little sticks of the ground and a little bit of wood across the top, chucking balls at each other. It doesn't really change too much, actually. It's just that the balls get harder and bowled a lot faster. We've been watching some of our West Indian friends last week. But it is our life. It's been part of the town, the previous part of the town, the future of the town. Benefactors that we've had here, of course, were the Swire family, which we all know about, I'm sure, Cathay Pacific, Hawes Bank, the Hawes family lived here. Both the Swires and Hawes donated an equivalent of about £40,000 when we were doing this build. So the past is still very much part of the future as well. They've been very kind.
Genesis of what is today Raytheon UK. Costa Electronics started in North London at the end of the 19th century, and it was a classical North London company which, when Harlow was created, was encouraged to come out and form an industry enterprise in Harlow. So the story I'm about to tell is really how that has evolved over the years. Raytheon has, I've said it there, $25 billion turnover. Actually, that's 2017, 2018 is bigger than that. So what that really means is that by the end of today and your breakfast, Raytheon will have notched up another $100 million of sales. That's quite a scale of activity. Not all in the UK, I have to say. 70% of that comes from the US. It's defence and security. 30% is in the international market. Now, from American companies, 30% export market is actually quite a significant overseas presence. Most US companies are not of that international presence, certainly not in defence and security. It's probably the number 2 US defence and security company. So our challenge really is, how do we retain our UK identity and Harlow's identity within that enormous scale? And let me tell you that one of the key pillars of Raytheon's strategy is about driving business through what it calls its landed companies, and Raytheon UK is a landed company. We're in charge of our own destiny, and they have a major activity in terms of us expanding not just our UK market, but from the UK into other nations as well.
So Harlow Up Trust was established in 1953 to make people's vision a reality. Over the following 65 years, a collection of over 90 sculptures has grown, and growing has been located in and amongst the housing, civic and leisure areas across Harlow. It's the largest collection of its kind in the UK. Talented artists such as Ralph Brown, whose meet portals in the Market Square, were identified when still affordable, and the influence of the early trustees, at that time figures of national importance, meant that the trust could secure works that otherwise would have been out of reach for the fledgling town. About 60 of the works are owned by the trust. Some 20 or so, such as Pisces in the town park, are owned by the council, and the rest by other commissioning bodies such as Harlow Health Centres Trust. It's very smooth. So the Art Trust is a charity and remains run by a board of unpaid trustees. Our core funding from Harlow Council pays for one part-time member of staff. This is Solo Flight by an actress, Prestis, which is you're probably all familiar with on First Avenue. The Trust is supported by the Friends of Harlow Sculpture Collection and the Gilt Gallery, who work tirelessly to promote and raise funds for the collection, and some of you may have been on one of the wonderful Scotch tours given by Jenny Lushington. We're also hugely reliant on the support of volunteers invigilating in the gallery. The friends and the volunteers are really the heart of the Trust. So this slide is a leaf, as we talked about earlier, by Rodin, and it's perhaps one of the Trust's most audacious acquisitions. As I mentioned earlier, we run the Gibbard Gallery in the Civic Centre. Since 2012, we've been running the gallery, and it's included a programme of temporary exhibitions that provide a sort of counterpoint to the main collection. We're currently showing Harlow-born Cedric Christie's work, and we run a series of events around the show, such as a chess afternoon we're planning later next month.
We're exploring. It's wonderful. This is being developed again in partnerships with schools. It's lovely to see from the BMAT urban academies that are getting behind that, and also other. I've spoken to the primary schools heads across Harlow, and it's something that's so exciting that the schools are getting interested in. Because what we want is for the schools to adopt the sculptures that are closest to them. And we will be creating a whole series of cross-cultural, very, very excited about STEM becoming STEAM. There's a real thing about the way, if you understand, as you can see, you can see from this sculpture, which is in the museum gardens, what happens to the impact of metal when it gets wet. So the whole thing of being able to encourage an understanding of the science of things through looking at one artwork and what can be done to actually protect that is actually a great way of looking across curriculum for things. So just to go back to the idea of adopting, we would love to think how businesses and organisations could also view that. There are ways that the Sculpture Guardian programme can work for volunteers to come forward and help when we are actually doing conservation work. There are ways that you can link with also well-being things. We are looking to make partnerships with some of the cycling and walking groups so that you can kind of link between, challenge between walking between the different areas. There are so many different ways that people can engage and feel a part of what's happening with this collection.